Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. Shock value. I mean, that will definitely spice up a relationship, right? Like the idea of an open relationship. Costa Rican sex workers, or maybe even a surprise STI. Today on our space, we find out what that burning sensation really means. Up first, some doors should remain closed, unless you're into that sort of thing. 26 male, 28 female. My girlfriend mentioned open relationship, and I became emotionally distant. My girlfriend of 2 years made friends with a coworker who is in an open relationship, and my girlfriend is very intrigued by it. About 2 weeks ago, she said that we can try it if I'm on board, and it might be a fun experience. Although she did say the final decision will be 100% mine. But something happened to me the moment she showed her interest in open relationships. I just don't see her the same anymore. It's like a switch was flicked off in my head. I no longer feel emotionally secure with her, and for the past 2 weeks, I just don't want to even spend any time with her. But on the other hand, we had a very good relationship before this conversation happened. We have also met each other's families. We saw eye to eye on most issues, but I guess it was just an illusion. I'm really confused on whether to wait out my feelings, or is it time to make some hard decisions? Would really like some perspective here, as I can't talk to my friends or family about this issue. You have friends and family in the community. Miho responds first. Since you asked me about open relationships and if I'm interested, something has changed within me. I feel like we're not on the same page anymore, that we don't have the same goals to this relationship. I'm 100% monogamous. I thought you were as well. This has shaken me. I feel insecure in this relationship when before, I was so sure of who we are as a couple, and now I'm feeling more distant from you, which I'm sure you've noticed over the past 2 weeks. I need to know if this is just a whim, a fantasy, something exciting to imagine like watching porn, or are you telling me you need to explore this in your life? I can't follow you down that road, and I'm not staying in a relationship where I'm constantly worried you want to have sex with other guys. I know this is big, but I need to know now if we have a future together. Best ramblings I can come up with. Good luck. Industrial Lube Man says, I no longer feel emotionally secure with her, and for the past 2 weeks. That's the long and the short of it, and why even being proposed the idea of an open relationship is a deal breaker for me. Castlehoff 32 says, be honest. Tell her how you look at her differently since she asked. Just communicate. If it's going to work out, it will. I don't blame you for a sec on how you feel here. I feel like she wanted to be in an open relationship to be with that coworker of hers perhaps. I think anytime you go into a monogamous relationship and later down the road bring up opening it up, someone is cheating. She was likely just asking for permission to have sex with other people. I also don't think you should wait or sit on your feelings when you're having them. Communication is key. Talk to her about what you're thinking and how you're feeling. See if something comes out of it. Either way, right now, you two are not on the same page. Update. After thinking about it a lot, I have decided to break up with her. I would like to get engaged and married at some point, and it seems a very big risk for me to get married with her knowing what I know now. Yes, I know anyone can change during the course of marriage, but this seems like I would be walking into the marriage constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't want to be in a marriage where my brain is in a constant state of guard. It would be unfair for the both of us. She deserved to be trusted 100%, and I deserve to feel safe with my partner, which for me is impossible now once she opened this door and told me she would like to sleep with others if I was on board. I don't know how to close the door and pretend like everything is normal. So I would tell her tonight that I'm sorry, but it's not possible for me to continue in this relationship. Thank you to everyone who took out their time to give advice. Lupercalius has some thoughts. It will hurt for a while, but you made your choice for the better in the long run. Take the time to heal and don't try to rush into something new immediately. Philip2110 says, you made the right decision, although I know it wouldn't have been an easy one. You will find the right person. Best of luck. IX Goal says, more and more people are starting to realize that when your partner asks to have sex with someone else, it's a relationship ender. There's no putting the genie back in that bottle. OP made the right decision. I'd venture to guess his girlfriend would not have cheated on him and accepted his choice. But the issue is psychological. He'd never get the request out of his head. So unfortunate. 3 Moon Tides has some thoughts. God, I looked through that thread, and the fighting is wild. I was actually getting heated and kept wanting to reply to people, but couldn't. Overall, though, I'm sorry this relationship didn't turn out the way you wanted it, OP. However, I am happy for you because you decided to keep your standards and boundaries, end it, and seek a relationship in which you have the same value and vision of what relationship you both want. I've seen so many stories where someone decides to do open relationships because their partner wants to, and they just want to stay with their partner no matter what, but they end up miserable because they truly only want monogamy. It's scary, and it also gives open relationships overall a bad rep because they're going into a relationship dynamic that only one of them really wants. For a relationship to work, everyone within the relationship needs to fully want the type of relationship that they have because the foundation of the relationship quite literally colors the entire relationship. And that goes for both open and monogamous relationships. I wish you all the best. The OP replies, a lot of people were saying that you have to save the relationship, and at first, I thought about it, but ultimately, I knew in my heart that it has to end. Sometimes the best thing to do is to let go, so that we both can be happy. We will be sad in short term, but after healing, we will both be happier with more compatible partners. My wife Rox chimes in, good call, bro. When your significant other pops up and says, I'd like to screw this other dude, that is literally the end. Best to do it now before you find out that she wants to open the marriage up. You have to do what's right for you, OP. And if you can't trust her, there's no point in marrying her. Do you think the OP made the right decision? Next up, nothing says Christmas like an STI. My boyfriend cheated on me with a sex worker on his last night in Costa Rica. That's basically it. He told me he had stayed in a hotel that was notorious for prostitution on his last day of a work trip in Costa Rica. I picked him up from the airport last night. We spent some quality time together after not having seen each other for 10 days. He spent the night at my house. We spent the morning together, then went to run some errands this afternoon. After finishing the errands, as we were driving to go on a hike with our dog, and he tells me, out of nowhere, that he paid a sex worker to sleep with her at this hotel that last night he was there. I honestly didn't believe him and thought it was some weird joke that I wasn't interested in, but he assured me that it was real and it really happened. I told him to take me home, and I didn't speak to him for the rest of the drive. I was spiraling. We've been together, admittedly, on and off, for 4 years now. Once we got back to my house, I packed up his stuff in his backpack and told him he had to leave. He kept saying over and over through the drive, and up until this point that he wanted to talk about it. What is there to talk about? I gathered the Christmas gifts that I had got him and threw them in his car, went back inside, and locked the doors. My best friend was home, thank God, so I cried to her for a while, but now I'm just in shock and don't know what to do or say. Any advice? Foolish 5678 has some advice. You did all the right things. Don't get back together with him. Interesting month 56 chimes in. Advice? Girl, you did all the right things. You don't need advice. You just need to go have a good time without him. God only knows what special gift he brought back from Costa Rica. Travel Lover wants to add to the conversation. Definitely get tested. He put you at serious risk and decided him getting off was more important than you, your feelings, and the relationship. There really isn't anything to discuss. You did the right thing. Pale Height Toll 51 wants to say, well, Gav, what is there to talk about? He cheated, admits it, and you want to leave him. Nothing to discuss. Dump him and get on with your life. Blue Dolphins Toll 21 had this to say. So you were saying he proceeded to come home and have sexual relations with you when he was exposed to who knows what? Get STI tested now and in 6 months. Your boyfriend intentionally inflicted emotional, mental, and physical exposure to STIs, trauma on you. You did the right thing. There's no coming back from this. Hell yeah. There's really nothing else to talk about. He did what he did, and that's all you need to know. And yes, he definitely put his health and your health at risk, exposure to STIs. Even if it's been on and off, there's no reason for him to have done that. Good riddance. Let him catch something and live with that for the rest of his life as a reminder of his stupidity. Do you think they should have hashed it out? Next, a boyfriend all the bad girls want. How to deal with women flirting and trying to get close with my 27 female, friendly boyfriend, 29 male. My boyfriend is an extremely nice guy. He's encouraging, a great listener, empathetic, and great at making people feel welcome from the moment he meets them. Given this, a lot of women he meets through sports and work flirt and show romantic interest in him despite knowing he's in a relationship. In some cases, they do it right in front of me and say nasty things behind my back while pretending to be nice and fun in front of my boyfriend. Chalk this up to insecurity, but it is growing so frustrating because of the sheer lack of respect these women have for our relationship, and it's turning me into someone I'm not, always having my guard up and being nervous when he's around women. I'm normally a friendly and fun person when I'm out, but now I feel that my energy out to the world is just nervousness because I'm afraid I'll hear or see more women try to get close, and I even know that's unattractive, but I can't help it. Has anyone gone through similar experiences, and how have you dealt with these types of women? Thanks in advance. Asking for advice. Elegant Pressure 290 has some stuff to say. My husband is like your boyfriend, and women adore him. I'm going to give you a little tip. You don't deal with the women. You can't. You deal with your boyfriend. My husband is super friendly and charismatic, but he is not flirty with women. When a woman tries to hit on him, even online, he tells them they're being disrespectful and to back off, and openly shows me the conversations, will say it in front of me, or tell me about it later. If someone talked bad about me, he'd have my back in a heartbeat. I don't worry when women flirt with him because I trust my husband. Your boyfriend needs to be the one to nip this. He's the one you need to trust. The Nord 321 chimes in. Same with my ex-girlfriend. She wouldn't shut down attention from a coworker who would push boundaries, and it eventually caused distrust in a relationship. It's great to be nice and open and happy with people, but you need to say, no, stop this. When someone disrespects your relationship boundaries, we're talking you down. Our next comment comes from Lapseng So Chogan. I was introduced to my now husband by a mutual friend. She had wanted to introduce him to our other friend, Sue, but she'd just gotten into a short-lived relationship with someone else. So about 6 months later, we're at a party and Sue tells me my partner was supposed to be hers, and I should step back. I think she was only half joking. So I told her if she could take him, she could have him. I'd just walk away. And I would have, because I don't want a man who'd stray like that. I let them have as much private time as she could arrange during the party. By the end of the evening, he was avoiding her like the plague and telling me he didn't want to be at any other gatherings with her. The next comment comes from your RA resource. What are they doing in terms of flirting as examples? What nasty things are they saying and how are you learning of it? The OP replies, ignoring me and giving him many compliments, being playful with expressions and gestures to him in front of me, asking to hang out, only him and not me, more. Especially Wendy chimes in. As much as you may not want to admit it, some of this is on him. I used to be this guy until I realized I was disrespecting my girlfriend by extension, of not shutting flirty behavior down immediately. It's not like things just happen to him and there's nothing to be done. I think if you trust him, OP, there's nothing to worry about. I think a lot of this might just be insecurities talking, and that's just something you're going to have to work on yourself. Don't let this relationship implode because of your own insecurities. Unless he give you a reason not to trust him, I think your relationship is golden. Clearly, other women think the same. It's just jealousy. Am I wrong? Lastly, a test no one wants to fail. Partner, 27 female, of 5 months, just tested positive for chlamydia. I've, 26 male, tested negative. Is it possible she didn't cheat on me? I'll get to the point. Been with this woman for 5 months. We have sex fairly often, a couple times a week. Recently, she wasn't feeling well, so she went to a doctor to get tested, and she's never had an STD test before. Comes back as chlamydia. I decide to get a test too, as if she caught it before us. I definitely have it. We don't use protection. And if I had it at first, I very much need to get it sorted out. Got the results today, and it's negative. Apparently, completely clean. Told her this, and she made a comment, pretty upset, that I would think she cheated on me, which I told her I didn't, and are just confused. But the thought admittedly eats at me. I know the chance the test is wrong is probably wishful thinking, but is there a way to catch it not from sexual activity? And what is the likelihood it wouldn't pass on to me? Edit. Yes, I agree I should have gotten tested at the start, but given I have only ever slept with one person prior to this and believe her when she said she hasn't seen anyone in over a year, plus assumed she knew about STD tests and would have had a test at some point between then and now, I figured it was fine. I am fully fine with being called a freaking idiot over that assumption because that's kind of not what I'm upset about. As for condoms, she's allergic to latex, and again, I rolled dice on something I shouldn't have. I'm honestly kind of breaking down internally over all this. Thank you everyone for the advice and information. I'm going to take another test to be sure, and if it's negative, I'll be talking with her on this. Archangel 1962 from the community responds, a number of factors could be at play. Firstly, she should get retested. Sometimes false positives occur. You should get retested. Sometimes false negatives occur. Next, have you had to take antibiotics at any time in the 5 months you've been together? If you have, it might have gotten rid of your infection without you knowing. Lastly, don't totally discount the least likely. Yes, you have sex with her regularly, means it should have spread to you, but however unlikely, it is possible you were lucky and just didn't catch it. Freebird Bus chimes in. Devil advocate. My ex gave me chlamydia and I only tested positive months after I had actually stopped sleeping with him. While he is the one that gave it to me, it is possible for chlamydia to lay dormant in the body for a few months. Chatkin Co. says, more devil's advocacy, chlamydia can be dormant for years, and a flare-up can occur causing symptoms, generally some other infection weakened the immune system, the chlamydia infection to rear up. I think it's totally normal to have this reaction to something like this OP. I think there's ways of having false negatives. It's being dormant and not showing up for you, and instances where it doesn't get transferred to the sexual partner until sometime later. I think just keeping a clear and open means of communication between the two of you right now is key. I'd keep an eye out for signs that perhaps she may have cheated, but also keep getting tested and talk to your doctor. It's also quite possible that she's had way before you and your relationship, and that she's only just showing signs of symptoms now. Thoughts? Thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss out. If you want to listen to more stories from me, check out our lounge where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related stories. See you there.